Hey, what's going on guys, it's Tom here. So basically today guys, I'm going to be doing a tutorial about a magic bullet looks style color correction. So I did a tutorial on color correction just a few weeks back, but it wasn't a magic bullet looks one, it was just done with the adjustments. So now we're going to be looking at a plugin by Red Giant called Magic Bullet Looks. So if you don't have this plugin already, then I'm going to leave a link in the description to a nice tutorial where you can go and pick that up quite easily. But anyway, I think it's about time that we got started. So obviously this isn't the original banner. This has already had a slight CC on it. This is one I did for Horizon Bastia, or I think that's how you say it, and lead designer for Horizon. And yeah, it hasn't got the above kind of bits and below bits. So the CC may look a bit over dramatic, or I might not put as much on, so you've got to tweak it to your own banner. Remember that whilst I'm going through this, you can't use the same settings because all banners differ, and you're going to need to implement different things. The first thing I generally do is hit Control J. It might be helpful if you go and look at my other color correction tutorial, because you'll just get some other tips and you can kind of combine the two tutorials. But anyway, I always do it on a new layer just in case, and also I like to muck around with the opacity and erasing some parts. So yeah, make a new layer, and then we're going to go up to Filter, Magic Bullet Looks, Photo Looks, and this is going to pop out a whole new program. Now, I don't want any of this which is on here so far. This is just something I was playing with last time, I suppose. Right, so this is what we've got. On the left hand side here, if you hover over, we've got a load of kind of what do you call them, presets and things like that. So maybe you'll be able to find one which kind of looks quite nice or whatever, but generally I go with just editing it myself. But you know, they can come in handy sometimes if you're going for something quick on a photo maybe. First thing which I'm going to add, this is kind of the same really as the adjustments panel. So you can add your contrast, you can add your saturation, all of that kind of thing, your curves. So maybe let's just add a tad a bit of contrast, I suppose. Just a tad. And then going to go in, and you literally just take these and just drag them onto the bottom over there. So I don't know if I want that much more saturation, but let's just, for the purpose of the tutorial, let's bump it up a little bit. Just kind of 108, that kind of area. Curves I'm probably okay with, that's something I normally add though. Then really it's just about messing around with all of these tools and stuff, and kind of playing around with the settings, seeing which one you like the most. That's really all it's about, to be honest. Here once again you can get some other really cool effects. Yeah, it's just about trying them all out, all of that good stuff. Diffusion, as you can see, kind of diffuse it out that way. What we can do is this gives it, or give it a kind of blur. So that's not particularly something I'm looking for, but that could be a nice effect if you're going for a glowy banner, I suppose. And then all you got to do is click on these and press delete if you want to get rid of them. So that's really simple. In fact, if we just add a little bit of diffusion, so what I'm just gonna do, if I up the glow slightly, and then downsize loads. I don't know. Actually, I smack the glow down a little bit. Mess around with the settings a little bit. Okay. I can't quite get this to work exactly how I want it to. Alright, that's just very minimal, just a little bit of glow, so we'll stick with that. Anyway, moving on to the lens. This is where I do most of my work, to be honest. So a vignette we can add here. For my particular banner, I don't particularly add too many vignettes, but what we could do here is we can change the color of the vignette. How beautiful! We can change it to white, which is normally what I do for this banner. Ooh, that's gone on a weird setting. Perhaps not white. Just maybe down the strength a lot. that seems overly strong. But anyway, mess around with that. I don't really use vignettes on my ink style anyway, so that's why I'm not really too familiar with that. The next ones are the ones which I had the most. This is an edge softness. So this is really controllable as well. This is great. You can just click on here, and this says like how wide you want the softness to start. So I want my softness to start kind of around here, this proportion, and yeah, pretty much end on the end there. Kind of go for something around kind of two on the blur, and that kind of gives a nice effect to that. Anamorphic flares, these are my favourite things in the world. So yeah, these really give some nice effects. So we've kind of got a couple of main features here. We've got the size. So on this one, this is too big for me. So I'm going to smack down the size to like 20. And then we got the threshold. And now this is very important as well, because if you put the threshold down, then there's going to become more flares on the banner. You put it up, there's going to become less flares on the banner. So we want something around here pretty much. Then you can change the size as you want. And then luckily you can also change the color of these flares. So if you're going for a, I don't know, green style banner, then you can make it green. This one's kind of got a bluey reddy theme, so we kind of put this kind of, I don't know, purpley blue. Probably going to be our best bet. That just kind of adds a few nice effects. As I say, I picked a pretty bad banner to do this on, just because I don't generally use a lot of CC on my ink ones, but we can still use the same tools here. Swing tilt. This basically adds a blur, but you can kind of manipulate it a bit more, I suppose. It's the only real way I can put that. Yeah, just kind of manipulate the blur a bit more. Work around with the blur size. I don't know, not something I particularly use, but I suppose if you've got perspective text on there, that could come in quite handy in terms of kind of a depth of field effect. And then the last kind of thing I use is a shutter streak. Now these are pretty handy, so smack down the size a bit. Don't want it to be too dominant, so we kind of this thing a little bit more. Then that's still a bit too much, so we're going to down the boost a bit there. And then shoulders are something that's can be really handy to add, just because they kind of stop the banner becoming too oversaturated and stuff, which is an effect which can weirdly happen. You can get your banners can become too bright, too overly saturated. You know, that's just not a great effect. So there we go, just add a little bit of a shoulder. Then it's pretty much just kind of messing around. If you've got my glitch effect, you can go for a cool film grain effect. That I imagine you could do some really awesome things using the film grain effect here. But for this banner, not too important. Anyway, I'm just going to press OK, because I feel like we've more than overdone all of the kind of tools and things like that. So it's going to take a little while to load. There we go, mine's loaded now. Beastly computer. And this is what we've got. And you might be thinking, you know, this is mucked up the black outlines over here and all of that good stuff. But what we can actually do, this is why I make a new layer on top. What I generally do, we could do this pretty accurately, so we could get the Polygonal Lasso tool, and if I go off of here, let's just go, I'll just do this really quickly, so we just go, and now what I'm doing is I'm holding shift, because that's how I made this interface basically. Holding shift only goes at certain angles, so only goes at straight lines and 45-degree angles. I think that's the right one. So just kind of mask away the bit that you don't want to, and that's going to make a selection here, and then we can just put your CC back out a second and then just press delete. Wait, hold on, delete, there we go. And then, oh wait, no, it's the other way around, Jesus. hold on, Control Alt Z. We just want to hit Shift, Control Shift. I've been using the Mac. Sorry guys. Control Shift I think that's it. To inverse the selection. So I'm getting confused because I've been on the Mac and stuff. Anyway, you want to inverse the selection, then delete it. That's going to get rid of that. And then if you're thinking that's looking a bit too harsh, which if you do it right, it won't do. But you could always just hit Control F, and that's going to feather it when it loads. It will feather it. It might be a little bit too over the top, but yeah, there we go. And then you can literally just rub out parts that you don't like as well, since we've got this above layer here. So I'll just rub out that little bit here. Let's say I think that I don't like the way it's on the tiger here. I want it to be more black and white. Then I just rub that out. Or we could go put the brush opacity down, so you're not getting rid of it completely. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much the effect. Was there anything else I was going to say? Yeah, obviously you can just down the opacity on here. If you think, oh no, that CC is way too over the top, just down the opacity to something like 60, 80, something like that, so it just doesn't have quite as much of an effect. But anyway, this has been my Magic Bullet Looks color correction tutorial for Photoshop. Remember, if you don't have Magic Bullet Looks, which I imagine you probably didn't watch the whole tutorial if you don't have it, but I'll leave a link in the description to a tutorial. So yeah, see you guys later. Please leave a like if this helped, and goodbye.